Don't mind the hair. Ah, it's been an interesting weekend so far. wait. You're not getting my glamour shot. Value Village, $2.99. I guess some influencer bought it, didn't like it, nah, sent it to Value Village. Whatever. It cast me in a better light. Things that I find humorous. So I mentioned in that very quick video that we did well, it's usually a 14-hour marathon. I only stuck around for 5, which is good enough because I was exhausted. Went to bed at 2. It's been a while since I've done that. So, but the room is not looking much cleaner. So there's less stuff on the floor. And even today, so here's a little bit of a thing. This is going to be a video full of tangents. Just giving you a heads up, a little bit of warning. This is going to be multiple topics. Some are going to be, I think, cute and fluffy, and I might get a little bit not cute and fluffy, but whatever. We'll see what happens. See how I feel. So my I won't say my ambition. My want and desire is to clean up this room again and get it as organized as I want it to. I've been doing the Jeff VW sorting method. It's coming along fantastically well, and I really do appreciate that. But after a whole bunch of shows this year and a whole bunch of Lego store visits and a whole bunch of other things, not too many Facebook Marketplace lots this year, but I still have a tote down there that I keep on meaning to make videos on. It's a whole one of my bigger totes full of bags of stuff that I got at Value Villages and everywhere else that I bought now years ago because I thought it'd be fun to roll it into the collection, and yet they sit in the box in the bag. So there, I have future videos for my beautiful friends out there, content creation, because you know me, I'm all about the content creation. Professional to the bone. I honestly had completely forgotten, and I shouldn't have, because again, it was a very sweet and kind gesture and gift to me from my cousin, one of my youngest cousins on my dad's side. Actually, sorry, not my youngest cousin, one of my oldest first cousins once removed. I think that's how it works. My cousin's kid. so it's not my youngest cousin on my dad's side. That's my cousin Judy. But my cousin Deb got married when I was still a kid. I might have been in single digits, and she had kids. She was far older than me, and those kids grew up, of course, and so we weren't too far apart in age. Anyway, so life goes on, and she had a husband and kids, and the kids grew out of Lego, and so she brought over, it's got to be a long time ago now, a full big Rubbermaid tote, and it's in the closet under the stairs because I keep on meaning to get to that because I haven't even looked at it yet. So there's so much Lego. Oh, the sorting. Oh, Bart. Oh, the sorting. I'm gonna nail it one of these days. Seriously, go find it. Kelsey Grammer's talking about how he got Sideshow Bob's voice, and it's one of my favorite stories. It just lives rent free in my head. Oh, Kelsey. It's like, this is one of my favorite little stories. This is going to be story time, by the way. As I said, many tangents about many stories, and I'm going to try to combine them all into something not cohesive. They're not going to be related. I'm going to go jump from point to point and throw in some tangents, shocking. Story time with Dave. So again, I was cleaning up, looking for something else, and all of a sudden I forgot that I put the tote in there, and I have to get to that, but I can't get to that because I can't even see the floor. So it's like, and I was taking apart vehicles and putting them in the baggies, and you saw that. It was great fun, and that tote's right here still, because I'm not done that yet, but the tote is now half empty because again there's less airspace now because there's just pieces and bags now instead of half-built sets, and yet I see over there on the floor two Megacore magnetizers and Ziplocs. over there I see a capital ship from UFO. I see 3. Wait a minute, I'm gonna back that up. No, I do. I see 3 Benny spaceships and bags over there. It's like, come on. That's got to stop. So, but I did find during my Jeff VW sorting a bag of 1x1 round bricks, yellow, and a whole bunch of tiles, yellow, with steering wheels that are overflow. So they're going to go into, I'm going to start a bin of stuff I'm going to bring to Brickomania and Bricks in the Six to start selling my overflow. I literally have no idea how much I'm going to charge. The other thing is I emptied these many little bins. These all had something in them. And now they do not, because they've been all sorted into the collection. So that's a good step. And I actually freed up bins like this. Of course, this is my temporary storage bin right now. I freed up 2 or 3 of those, which has been fantastic. So that is coming along sporadically when I get around to it. So that story is done. Okay, so there's this little octagon over here. Right there. If you know, it's the new level to the tower and my layout that has a little tiny mini landing pads on it, which I adore. I already mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. The layout right now, as I'm making this video right now, because I just did it today, and you'll see this on Wednesday or Thursday, but I did it today on Saturday. I set up the layout over at the Rick Shack. My buddy Jamie called me up and said, "Hey Dave, we'd like to have the layout back at the Rick Shack." I said, "Not a problem, Jamie, I'll be right there." So I took the layout over there, set it up. What's up?
Look at this mini F1 car.
Oh.
They're in like minifig packages.
Oh my goodness. Is that actually Lego?
Yes.
It is Lego. Look at that. Oh, look at this. What Josh just brought me. That is like how come I don't know one of these things yet?
There's 16 of them. And they're like normal minifigs.
Okay, so I'm going to have to, the next time we're at the Lego store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 16 collectible ones.
That's awesome. Where'd you get that one?
Walmart.
Oh, wow. That's probably at the Lego store too, right?
Yeah, but like you can see it says Lego.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. So we're gonna find those little mini cars. Look at that.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Love you.
Love you, bud. So what are they talking about? Oh yeah, so the layout is at Jamie's store. It's not Jamie's store anymore. He has new owners, but I mean the store has new owners, but that's fine. They asked, and Jamie asked me. They asked Jamie, and Jamie asked me, and I said absolutely not a problem. So I went there today and set up the layout. It was at Jamie's store last year for quite a while. I think a couple of months. So this year's basically the same, except I do have that show in August. And this is where I'm going to go with this bit of a tangent, this little story. What I had planned before Jamie called me, and I already started a little tiny bit, was to work on various modules of the layout. You will remember the videos where I expanded the landing pads out 8 studs. Stuff like that, but mostly improvements, because after at least 3 years is the last time I actually did any kind of rebuilding of it. It's been at least 3 or 4 years after I added the moon-based corridors on it. That's actually more than 3 years ago. The layout itself has been not neglected, but there's been parts and pieces inside buildings that are broken that I've completely ignored because I just haven't had time to get, because to fix the internal structure of a building requires taking apart the building, and that means that I need the time and to know that I'm not being pressed for time by a show coming up. So c'est la vie, these buildings are still not fixed. And to make better, because now I bought the where are they? Oh, they're right here somewhere. I bought those 9-volt to 3-volt converters, and they're oh, right here. The 9-volt to 3-volt converters, because my plan now, and this is that I was trying to figure out. I showed you the video where I have at least 4 life lights basic and or advanced kits connected to one of those 9-volt to 3-volt converters. And so the plan is, when I was setting up the layout today, I think, and this is even a better plan than I had before, is that I'm going to use my 9-volt wire. 9-volt wire. And so it's timber. Okay, this is going to stop. Even the stuff up here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that kid. I'll never get. I will. This is. Oh, the joy. I'll say that, the absolute joy. This is me and him working in the garage one time. What was I doing here? What was I making? It wasn't the layout. I cannot figure out what I was making here in the garage. I think it was Reynolds in the house. And you can see our little puppy right there. As this guy should be on making movies and stuff. Anywho, my mom, that picture is her kayaking across Lake Ontario. Can you imagine waking up on a Monday morning or whatever morning was? I think I'm gonna go kayak across Lake Ontario right now. Now they did it in a group. It wasn't just her solo kayaking across Lake Ontario. It wasn't going from like Hamilton to Kingston, but I think it was from St. Catharines to Toronto, which is far enough. They had boat support there just in case somebody got whatever, but it took a day. I don't know exactly how many hours, but it took a while. But so I keep that picture there. So the layout's set up at the shop, and so yeah, it's going about the 9-volt stuff. So I had an idea, but it was kind of nebulous and not really concretely worked out in my head. But the second I was setting up the layout today, I said what a better plan is I'm just going to use the 9-volt wire, and have the 9-volt wires go. Basically what I've been doing is I've been running the wires on top of the layout instead of the 3-volt wires underneath, because that takes a lot of time to set up and whatever. As the 9-volt wires are on top, and they kind of just follow the train track loop to the destination, so you don't see them because they're kind of tucked into the black wire with the black train track stuff I have. But then what basically you do is that you plug in the 9-volt connector, boom, onto the base plate where the building is. We'll just take the Habitat, for example. There's one Lifelines kit in there. There is one EL wire kit in there that convert the Lifeline to the 3 volts to whatever for the EL wire. And there is a 12-volt, but I'm going to probably replace all the 12 volts with Lifelines because it'll make it look better. So that would be an extensive rebuild of the Habitat, but that's okay because the Habitat needs rebuilding because it's been neglected this long. But anyway, so basically you plug in a 9-volt wire going back to the either RCX or train controller or whatever, and then the thing lights up. So I don't have to run wires underneath. I don't need the 12 power supply portion of my electrical box. And that was just also the entire building's lit up. Instead of having 3 wires going there, I got the EL wire and the 9-volt wire and the 12-volt wire. I just have one 9-volt wire that converts it down to 3 volts, and the 12 volts removed because whatever. And that's going to be 4 Lifeline kits. And I already know that one of those 9-volt to 3-volt converters can handle at least 4 Lifeline kits. So that building's done. The launch pad, perfect, because there's I think like 2 Lifeline kits in that thing. The monorail station, again, very perfect. There's only 2 monorail kits in that station. And then even having it go out to the base plates for the landing pads. So it would be easier to run these 9-volt wires throughout the layout and just click them on instead of worrying about the small finicky connections that come with these Lifeline kits. Or any other, it's not just Lifelines, it's like all the other lighting kits. The connectors do get worn after a long time of unplugging and plugging and unplugging and plugging and then whatever. So So I that's what I want to do. So I thought about it, and I got 10 of those, and they were cheap for like $13. So if I need more, I'll just order more. So that's not the issue. That's fantastic. It's just rebuilding the buildings to accept that. I was also thinking today, while building the tower from bottom to top, that I want to rebuild basically the whole thing. Externally, there will be no changes. Visually, from a distance, the tower is going to look identical that it does as it does now. The issue for me is the base of that tower is such a pain in the butt to put together at every show because of the 4 parts. There are 3 parts that are 2 base plates wide, and there's 1 part that's 1 base plate wide, and they break literally all the time, putting them in and out because I made them too detailed inside with a lot of greebling, and greebling makes things weaker, and nobody sees inside. Like literally, I did it originally because I was going to have like a GoPro on the train, so when it's going through the station, you would see it on the TV screen going, and you see other people waiting for the trains and sitting over there by whatever, and they're doing other work and whatever. But literally nobody sees that inside the building, deep inside the building. So in order to alleviate some of this mess of breakage, and also to, especially the garage doors, I mean, those things are breaking literally all the time, and it just drives me nuts. So I want to change all of that, keep the look of it, but internally just restructure it, restructure the crap out of it so it doesn't break when it's in storage. And again, the wooden box crate that I have, this thing would be broken literally all the time in cardboard boxes. So the fact that they're in the cardboard boxes, and I mean the wooden boxes, they've lasted this long, multiple shows, putting them in, putting them out. But occasionally there's pieces breaking off, and it just drives me crazy. So I want to get that fixed. And so I was thinking about combining back, because again, I split the majority of the base of the tower into 4 sections. I want to bring back and connect the 2 of them back together, so it's like 4 base plates, big square base plates, and that would strengthen it because it's 1 big piece instead of 2 separate pieces that have to come apart. So I'm thinking about doing that. The issue, what I found today, like it'd be great on any other show, but today I put the layout as close to the wall as possible to save space in the store, and then I'm just lifting. I leave 12 inches to pull up the units because I have to sneak down behind there and pull them out. It's a little awkward. It's very, very tight, and if they were 20 inches across instead of 10 inches across, they might be harder to pull up, but whatever. I'll figure something out for that. But I also want to ignore building detailed stuff in the center of the tower because it's a waste of time. And what I want to do now is I want to run the wires from the top to the bottom through the center of the tower. So when I put on the various modules and stack them, the wires will just fall right down to the bottom. I can pull them out and just have 1 section in the middle of the back of the station where I can pull that out, and the wires are going to be right there so I can connect them to the 9-volt power, because the tower lighting is the hardest one out of all of them. Straight up, it is the most difficult thing to light with life lights and stuff, because there's a lot of connectors to get the whole thing together. So I had that idea, just 9-volt wires, just drop them down the center, and they can just hang in the center, and you can see it through the trans yellow. Who cares? It doesn't matter, because it'd be like 3 or 4 of them for the entire tower, basically. They would go at the various levels that can have one of those 9-volt 3-volt converters, and they go to all the different lifelike kits that I have in there. So that's a plan, but that would require extensive rebuilding of the tower. So, and fixing the lights that don't work anymore, which is also an added bonus. So I was thinking about that when I was setting up. So I set it up at the brick shop. It's going to be there until at least mid-July. So you have over a month to go see it. I really wish you would. Go to the store and see what they got. Check out the big brick bar and all the sets they have. But go check out the layout and say hi from Dave. Mentioning my name will not give you a discount. Just giving you a heads up. They're my friends, and again, I'm not that kind of person. I don't go looking for deals. Again, for this hobby, and since these are friends of mine, I'm willing to pay full freight for my stuff, because I don't want them to lose out on the business. And so I never look for deals like that just because I know somebody. If I have a cousin or an uncle or somebody that's a contractor and this is their going rate, I mean, whatever they ask me to pay, I'm going to pay. But I don't expect people to automatically give me discounts because I'm a friend or a relative. I think that's absurd. I think that's not. If they offer it, sure, but I'm not going to go begging. So if you go to the Brick Shack, don't, hey, I know Dave, give me a discount. That's never going to happen. Do not do that. But their prices are reasonable to begin with. If you look at the store prices versus going to a Lego store or whatever, unless it's on deep discount, their prices are extremely reasonable, and they have the brick bar. And right now my layout's there. So, and with the layout, the plexiglass is almost perfect. I was very, very happy, very pleased with the how the plexiglass turned out. The issues, and this is me griping about how things are so great, but I'm still going to gripe about it. The issue is the first one, because the plexiglass is on the wood surround of the platform. I could not put on my newest addition, which is the launch pad that goes around the rocket launch platform for my little space shuttles, because they stick out past the wood and therefore they would hit the plexiglass. So that is not on the layout right now. And so going forward, when I do these kind of shows with the plexiglass, I can't have that little section there. And I didn't bother putting it in the back either because nobody's seeing that. So, but when I do like the show like Brickomania or whatever, that'll be back on because there's no plexiglass. The other thing about the plexiglass, it is, for me, when I look at it, it's too short. And I should have figured out how to cut bigger pieces out of the plexiglass that I got for a very good price. The plexiglass, each piece is 30 inches long, which is, again, it's 3 base plates, but 19 inches high. And of course, the rails that I screw them to are 7.5 inches. So basically, leaving you height ways off the base plate is like 13 inches, which does not get up to the top of the habitat. It's on the second level, basically, of the habitat. It covers up to the second, basically the 2 monorail tracks. The 3rd monorail track is exposed. I don't even know how I didn't think about this, because the pieces of plexiglass that I got were 38 inches by 58 inches. And what I did is I cut them lengthwise, which gave me 19 inches by 58 inches. And so when I cut up my 30-inch pieces, there's the piece that was left over is not long enough to do anything with. Had I cut it instead of lengthwise, I cut it in half. I could have cut it widthwise, just cut out a 30-inch or a 20-inch strip, a 20-inch strip, and a 20-inch strip, almost 60 inches. Figured out how much we left over, just about it in half. So I could have been up to 29 inches high from top to bottom, which would have covered a lot more. It would have been a lot more work, a lot more sanding, a lot more finishing, because there's like 2 or 3 sides cut now that you have to sand down. But the plexiglass pieces would have been taller. C'est la vie. I didn't even think about it. I cut them the way I did, and the kids cannot get into the layout because the plexiglass is there. Adults can still reach into the layout, but whatever. I didn't worry about the last time it was there, and it was there for months. Jamie's got a sharp eye. He says that a minifig did go missing off the layout. It was a red minifig, and I'm going, actually, I'd still have a few red minifigs over there. Red minifigs, I didn't notice. He did. But it'll be there for over a month, and it'd be really nice if you guys want to go see it. Just mention that you saw it, or take a picture and send it to me. Hey, Dave, saw your layout. Right? You can contact me if anybody, like, you're already my friends. So Facebooks and the Instagrams and all the other stuff. So it's going to be there for a while. And so I'm going to be pontificating, ruminating, working out in my head all the various issues that I have with it, and I'm going to fix them without it here. So I'm gonna get spooled up for that because again, so the reason why it's gonna be halfway through July, because August 15th I'm gonna be at Brickomania, and August 9th I'll probably be in Montreal for work. So and the weekend before is the long weekend, the August Civic weekend, and then we're always at my friend's cottage for that weekend, and so that weekend's gone. So now we're at the end of July. So I need some time to do this. Fix it, because I don't want to go to Brickomania and have the broken parts that I saw today be still broken when I go to Brickomania. But because it is there at the shop right now and it's set up, and I said I was going to leave it there for over a month, it's going to be a very tight time frame, because the next 2 months is what I was going to work on it to fix the stuff that was broken. But I'd rather have it on display than me working on it. I'll say that as clear as possible. I would rather have the layout on display than sitting in the garage and me pulling it apart when I have time to work on it. My happiest moments with the layout is seeing it up, because the only time I get to see it up is at a show. And so I will remind, if you don't remember these stories. Yay! That's 2 times in a row. High quality H2O. That back in the day, when my very good and dear and wonderful friend Janie had a store up in St. Jacobs, it was set up there for half a year, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I would go up there sporadically and look at it and see all the fingerprints on the store windows, because it was in an empty store, and she got to set stuff up there for all the people to see, and she's the only one that had a key, so I had all the faith in the world that nothing would go walking because Janie's on it. But I left it up for 6 months, and it was great. First of all, not having it here, and she would give me sporadic updates about, there was in front of the window was 4 people deep, like it was so many people watching it, and it's fantastic. What I did today was I put the train controllers back in, because the RCXs, if the power goes out, and they're not gonna work. So and I only got 2 loops working, because it was going to be too difficult to run wires to get the other loops working. So there are 2 loops working, the train loop, the soldered wire to the train track, top drawer, by the way, fantastic, not one problem. As soon as I turned on the power, the train was moving. It was like, I should have done this years ago. I mean, I love the Lego cookies up the power connectors, but I know historically, especially considering the age, those things have temperamental things. So soldering the wire directly to the train track, brilliant. So and then the first big monorail loop, it's fine. And basically the switch on my control center, you turn on the switch, the power goes, and the things move, and then you turn off the switch, and you're done. So I don't have to worry about RCX memory. I don't have to worry about whatever. The other thing is, I did not have to take the bottom half of my power control center, because that's just the wall warts for all the lighting, all the complete lighting. So I got to leave that at home, so things were lighter. And I used my boxes to put the control center on, so that works perfectly fine for me too. It's tucked underneath, it looks great. It's just because, again, I built my boxes to be like Lego. You can interconnect them and stack them, so that's the chef's kiss for that one. Very, very happy how that turned out. So I'm happy it's there. I'm ecstatic that it's there. I hope, I told them to advertise the crap out of it, because people seem to want to see it. I want to see it. So I do plan on getting there a lot more this time, because the last time I left it with Jamie for 3 or 4 months. I think I saw him 3 or 4 times, and that was it. This time I plan on going at least once every other week, because I actually wouldn't mind taking some more of these 9-volt wires the next time I'm there, to see if I can get another monorail loop working for them. But we'll see. I don't know how much effort I'm going to put in that. So all in all, even without the layer here, so it's the original tower that we're all used to seeing, not the taller tower. And I didn't put the extensions on the base plates, the landing pads. I'm saving that for Brickomania. I said I have to have something for Brickomania that's different than the tower that we know now. So So it's there. I hope you guys go see it. And just I hope that you guys let me know you went to see it because I think it'd be awesome. And that's that for that conversation. And we're 30 minutes into this now. Jamie's a great guy. We'll see what happens. I do like talking to him. I like the new owners too, so that's perfect. I appreciate the shop. I think it's good. I think it's good for the community. I think it's good for everything. Support local. That's basically what I told them when I showed up with this thing. They were very, very thankful that I showed up with this thing, and I'm supporting you. You're doing me a favor by letting me set it up here for a while because now the garage is empty and we got a whole million home renos to do, and so not tripping over those boxes is better for everybody. So I like that idea. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, we can get into this. 2 orange tires were in the brick barn. So I did not put as many Easter eggs as I normally put in. I got my whole bag of minifigs here and a whole bunch of other minifigs in here. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of these things that I have to work on again. Other than that, these things shouldn't have been here. I'm gonna have to remember to take these when I go because these things are what I need to. Just like I keep on coming across monorail books. And these are the RCXs that would control it, and they still have batteries. Wait. Best sound ever. Yep, and they still have the new firmware in there. You can see with the digits display, so it's got the new firmware. So it is a battery backup having the 6 AA's in there because of course they're always powered when the power's on. But when I did this at Anime North, there was one RCX that the batteries were dead. So then I plugged it in and turned on, it was the old firmware, so I had to update the firmware. I was there. Again, I always bring my laptop for something like that. I do want to color code my stuff better, but that's not today. And I put 2 controllers there instead of like 4 RCXs. This is another RCX that I have in here. Let's see. Oh, I don't think it's plugged in. There's no batteries in this one. It is for me enjoyable that every time I just look around my room, there's RCXs everywhere. I don't know if the pieces in here. Anything in here? So this happened to me, and it started at Anime North. Wah, wah. This is one of my stanchions, my little towers that hold up the monorail track, and this was the head of it. I think when I was at Anime North, it rolled off the layout onto the concrete floor and shattered, so I just used the one stud that was left on it. And so when I was there today setting this thing up, I didn't have any gray ones, but I had a few spare black ones, so I just took this off. So it's going to go into the bin of doom. It's in the bin of doom. I love the landing pad piece. It's fantastic. So I was a little, unhappy that it's broken. I mentioned this yesterday. This thing's working fantastically. I don't know when you guys will see the video. Everything's kind of a jumble right now. I'm going to work on probably for Brickomania to have at least one monorail train that has this on it instead of the regular connectors, because this is going to make my life easier, hopefully. And I want to see how it works. So there's that. Again, it's also amazing how many monorail motors I have in my room. Considering that I have 4 or 5 at the show right now. Only one's working, but there's another one. There's the spare that I had for the show. I've actually never counted. I think I have a dozen monorail motors. I'm like, I can't see the bins right now. Possibly a dozen, and that's fine. I know that they are about $50 a piece now, minimum, on I think on Bricklink. There was a post there was a post on Marketplace in the area, so I saw it. One monorail motor, and the person wanted $100 for it, and it said untested. And I said, what you can do, if you so desire, is you can get a 9-volt battery and just touch the leads in here with the 9-volt battery, and if it spins, it's working. If it doesn't spin, it's not working. And they updated their sale, their post in Marketplace showing a 9-volt battery touching those things, and it came on. I said, oh, see, they listened to me, and they did thank me for that. I said, I have several, and I am not paying $100 for one. I am not going to do that. But hey, they're still out there. You can still get them. The Lego Monorail group on Facebook is being heavily inundated with posts from the groups that are making different track types for the monorail, like a cross switch like that, really kind of cool, and the Y switches doing various things. It's just fantastic. I just don't have the space, because in order to use that kind of stuff, you need the space and a layout to do that kind of stuff, and my layout is very tiny. And I'm not really, I was thinking about it on the way home after I set it up, that it would be nice to have a wing done, like another, be another 3 times 6, 18, another 18 base plates on there, just another 30-inch extension on the one side, right off the monorail stations that have more landing pads. That's what the original intent was. And then have a monorail loop that comes down to the base plate level, because there's no monorail loop at all that comes down to the base plate level, because there's no room for it. I was thinking about that today, and that would be easy setup. And I would just extend the rails and the joists that far to be able to do that. And I actually built into the current picture frame using the bed rails, that if you wanted to go out another 30 inches, there's already a gap there to put the 2x4 cross bracing joist. But I just, then it's a whole other box that I would need full of stuff to go onto that part of the module, part of the layout. It'd be just like 3 20 by 30 wooden things to tape the base plates to. But there would have to be buildings or something out there. It's nothing that's necessarily extravagant like I already have. But it would have been nice. Maybe when I retire, so it'd be like 10 feet long instead of 7.5 feet long. And I don't mind that. 5 by 10, that'd be fine. Going back to the original 10 by 10 layout, that was the L shape, like the L brick. Wafts through my head every once in a while. I said, that's just way too much work. Like even today, it was 3 hours. I got there a little after 2, and I was out of there by 5:30. And there was some talking and sitting around, not too much sitting around, and like avoiding customers, because again, the store was open till 5. But I had most of it set up before they closed the store. It was just the detailing and putting the plexiglass on that happened after 5 o'clock. So the people were very nice to watch me, and they were asking me all these wonderful questions. And again, I've been doing shows, figuring it out since 1997. So almost 30 years, 28 years now. That I'm used to people walking up and asking me questions when I'm setting this thing up, because it is something. It's not the biggest something out there. There are layouts and displays far bigger than what I have. Absolutely 100% far bigger than what I have. And they are absolutely gorgeous. The Harry Potter castle, I think they said it was 13 feet by 13 feet. It's just one of the best things I've ever seen. The train layouts, the whole cityscapes, all this absolutely, and it's usually collabs. But I've been doing shows for 30 years, and over those 30 years, when I'm doing something, either before or after, and the public's not there yet, or even when the public is there, I'm still setting stuff up. They come and everybody has questions, and I love answering them. So I had no problem today with customers in the stores. I'm setting this thing up, asking me this, that, and the other thing, and I'm going to stop and talk to them because that's nice, and I think they appreciate it, and I know I appreciate it. The fact that they took an interest, and I think that's what it comes down to for me right now. Is somebody takes an interest in this stuff, right? And I will say one of the conversations today was with three almost 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and they were looking at the parts and realizing how old they are, trans yellow, and they were talking about this, and they talk, oh, they built this set and all the new 5-digit sets and all the latest and greatest, and oh, I'm building this technique and blah, blah. And then they look at my layout, which is again bricks on top of bricks, completely different building techniques than anything that you get these days. But they mentioned that, oh, I got my older brother's old Lego, or I got my dad's old Lego. And this does make me feel old, by the way. When they go, I got my dad's old Lego, and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to mention Classic Space. And he says, no, it was a black brick that had these 3 yellow triangles on it. Like, that's 1987. Like, I already had 9 years of Classic Space before 1987, and Blacktron showed up. But they were, oh, I have this one, brick, and I think I'm missing all the parts. And then we even talked about the trans yellow dome, because that's the only place that had the trans yellow dome with a message intercept base. And I mentioned that to them, and they said, oh yeah. And I said, if you ever want to refurbish it, just go on Bricklink and find your missing pieces, because we have the base plates, but I'm sure we're missing lots of pieces. Sure, I'll talk about this stuff all day long, even while I'm setting up. I don't have a problem. I know that Janie used to have a moratorium on people talking to me when we were setting up for BrickFed, because she knows how long it took to set up the Classic Space layout, even back then. Because that's right done. I'm putting no base plates and putting the 1x1 trans red and trans green pips on them, the 1x1 round bricks. Because I would always stop and talk, and it'd take me 5 or 6 hours to get the layout set up. So she mentioned as the years went on, because BrickFed 2011 to BrickFed 2018, I've missed a few in there, but she would say to the rest of the team, when Dave's setting up, do not talk to him at all, because I'm just too busy talking and not setting up. I love my friends, and I love how they take care of me. And that's what it comes down to. I told the owners today, I specifically said to them, they're actually doing me a favor. The boxes are out of the garage right now, because the boxes are tucked into the corner, but it interferes with the radial arm saw table, because I can't put big sheets on there to cut up, because it hits the boxes. So I have to take the boxes out anyway if I'm working in the shop. And so I said, me having the layout at their place right now, because summer's going to get busy and I have to fix the kitchen floor, which is a whole me ripping it up, I'm going to need access to my saws. And the boxes made that to be an inconvenience. Not insurmountable, but I mean, I did design it in the garage to have the boxes move, the top one, so I could use the radial arm saw to its full extent. But having them not there in the first place, better. So, and again, I keep on saying this to everybody. I like to see it set up. I get to see it all the time in my head, right? And I got a million videos of it. So the excitement is not for me seeing it set up, because I've seen it before. Seen it many, many times before. My excitement is other people's excitement. Which tangentially leads into hopefully a quick topic, because I've talked about it way too much, way too often, is the toxic gatekeeping. It was a brilliant quote in my head. I thought I didn't write it down. But basically, I'm the antithesis of this idea. But this idea is so prevalent in the hobby community, almost any hobby community. Like literally, I cannot think of a hobby community that doesn't have people like this, where their hobby is the best thing ever, the happiest, joyful, absolutely the best thing ever. And every other hobby is either childish, a waste of time, a waste of money, and what are you doing with it? I had it phrased better in my head earlier, and I didn't write it down. And especially, and I'm going to say this very clearly, this hobby. So, because I used to get into it with some people I was on some news groups where I don't know, I can't remember the news groups, but I was following this police officer from not Brampton, Mississauga, Etobicoke, and he was always giving out noisemaker tickets because these little malcontents. That's for somebody out there. These malcontents were driving around at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, with the little fart cans on the back of their stupid little Nissans that are like 110 decibels, driving through these communities, and they would get stopped and they get pulled over and they get a ticket. And they would whine about it, saying, "Oh, you're impacting on my fun. Why are you being so mean? And why are you guys like stopping our enjoyment of this hobby of having these fart cans on the back of our cars, these noisemakers? Why are you doing that?" And the standard answer is the Highway Traffic Act, Section 75. See, I even read it many times. And Section 75 about unwarranted excessive noise. And they said, well, people speed. Well, people don't use their blinkers. Like, I don't see them getting arrested for that. And I'm thinking, what? I see cops with cars pulled over all the time for speeding and reckless driving and all that stuff. But anyway, so I used to get into it with them about don't be a malcontent. My standard phrase was, you've clearly, and I wrote this down so many times, I hope I have memorized it now, you clearly abdicated, one of my favorite words, your inherent responsibility to the community around you, the people around you in the community you live in. Because you're waking people up. Oh, well, they play their, they always come up with some vacuous, disingenuous excuse as to why they should be able to disrupt people's lives. And they would come up with the most ludicrous examples. Like 110 decibels is harmful to your ears. Oh, but we're only driving by for 30 seconds. The person's not going to have damaged ears after 30 seconds. I'm going, you're zipping up and down. Like Sandy and I will be laying in bed, especially in the summertime, with the window open. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll hear the Suzukis or whatever going up the Red Hill Creek Expressway. It's got to be at least 180 kilometers an hour because those things are pretty loud. And we're 2 valleys over from the Red Hill Creek Expressway, but we'll hear the fart cans, and we can hear them coming down the Red Hill. And again, that's 2 valleys over, getting on King Street, gets louder coming by our place, and going to 20 Highway and going back up the hill because you can hear the way sound's coming. And I said, we just heard that guy for the last 5 minutes coming down, going down King Street and up the hill. And you're saying 30 seconds? Are you kidding me? Are you literally kidding me? So I used to get into it with them on the TikToks. So it wasn't even TikToks, it was Twitter. I've canceled my Twitter accounts, by the way, years ago for other reasons. And invariably they would look me up and they would find out that I have this hobby. And they said, why are we even listening to some little child boy man playing with Lego? And they would infer some other stuff about that. And then, of course, they would be blocked. Not by me, but by Twitter for inferring other stuff that was bad. And I'm going, you again, just by, it happened more than 3 or 4 or 5 times with different people. You've just showed again on Twitter, Twitter, that you're a malcontent. You're an absolute malcontent by disparaging my hobby and disparaging me as slander, although slander is spoken, so if you labeling me on Twitter to get yourself immediately blocked and banned, that you have to come up with a new account. And I've had that a few times where all of a sudden you get a new account name with 7 random numbers after it, and the guy, oh, they kicked me off of Twitter and I had to make this new account to come and harass you again. Really? Like, obey the law. Obey the law. How hard is it to obey the law? Like, seriously, the Highway Traffic Act, the big traffic act, how hard is it to obey the law? And again, so this leads into not necessarily the noisemakers, because that's kind of passe now. I haven't heard a really bad one in a while because they clamped down on it 2 or 3 years ago. Fantastic, thank you, Mark Terrazzo. Um, that but what I'm noticing lately, and Sandy and I are noticing lately, and Sandy and I are noticing, and Josh is going for his license pretty soon because he is 16. Getting this G1. Even tonight, we went and picked Josh up at the girlfriend's, and we're coming home, and we're on the link. And the link has a maximum speed of, and I think everybody knows where the story is going. The link maximum speed is 90 kilometers an hour. Everybody is 100. Oh, everybody is 100. Yeah, fine. I go with the flow of traffic. I don't bother checking my speedometer overall. But if I'm doing 100 on the link, it's fine. I don't care. If I get pulled over, and that's what I always used to say. If I got pulled over doing 190 zone, and the cop's going to give me a ticket for doing 190 zone, I'm not going to. Oh, you bad cop! I broke the law. Here's 100, and the big white sign says 90. It's the law. The white sign is not an advisory. Hey, maybe you might want to think about it. It is the freaking law. It says maximum 90 kph, maximum, period. But people ignore that, and that's fine. I'm not going to make a federal case about people doing 190 zone or 120 on QEW. I don't care. That matters not to me. But we're coming down the link. We're doing 90, 95, whatever. There's cars all going the same speed. There's a car there. There's a car in front of me. I'm keeping a good safe distance because I'm getting old. I'm like, hey, I'm going to keep this big safe in case the brake lights show up. Immediately, I have time to react. So we're coming to the curve to go down the Red Hill Creek Expressway. And of course, the Red Hill, RHV Red Hill Creek Valley Expressway. Red Hill Valley Expressway. there's an acronym for it. Because you see in the newspaper and on CHH. But anyway, so we're coming. So they got the Mud Street exit, the Mud Street and upper Red Hill Creek Expressway, and I'm in the right lane because again I'm driving slower, so I'm not going to hog the left lane and just stay there and cars back up. But the car's still up there beside the car that's in front of me, and there's 2 lanes there. Right, and we're not at the off ramp yet to the Mud Street, and this car. Again, because I'm far, the car in front of me, like I won't say half a mile, but it's up there because again, I don't care. So, this car just must have been doing 150 minimum when it passed us. Like it shook our car. Like he went blazing past us. I won't tell you what kind of car it is, but you probably already know. So, and it shook our car, and then he has to slam on the brakes because those 2 cars are just kind of like, and then the on ramp shows up, and by that time, the car in the left lane was just eking out just a little bit ahead of the car here. Now, to be very clear, there was at least 5 or 6 car lengths between my car and the other car in the right-hand lane. There's 5 car lengths, at least. Like you could have put a semi through there to get off at the off-ramp. But this guy had to, and the off-ramp started now. The off-ramp has started. So it's like you got the double lines beside us, the dotted line beside us, Red Street that way. This guy is in the left lane, and he's just on the bumper of the car in front of him, and there's finally just enough space. And of course, I think he's just going to go down. No, he wants this off-ramp. I'm going, holy crap, dude. Like, you almost killed those 2 cars. Like, it was just unbelievably close, how close he was to the front car and the car in the right. And he cuts over 2 lanes to get off of Mud Street. And he didn't slow down to get on the off-ramp to go to Mud Street. I'm going, what? This isn't GTA. This is not. And again, hey, you kids, get off my grass. I don't want to be that guy. But the other night, and thankfully I was not on the road the other night. And this is kind of where it gets into a little bit of whatever. 2 people lost their lives. Right over there. Upper Centennial Parkway, 20 Highway, going up the hill between Green Mountain and I think Mud Street. They were coming down. They're coming towards the edge of the escarpment to come down. And what happened was that there was 2 pickup trucks at 1 o'clock in the morning going up the hill. And there was some road rage. The term road rage was used. But what happened was that these two trucks were just duking it out, going up the hill past Green Mountain Road, and the one truck had to swerve to whatever they were doing and went into oncoming traffic and hit the minivan dead on, killing both people in the minivan who were just there to come down the hill to probably go home to their two daughters. Two people are dead because malcontents cannot even understand the mayhem and damage that they can do in an instant. And we've been talking about this my entire life and even before, that you get behind the wheel of a car or a truck or whatever. This is a lethal weapon in any given instant if you're not doing what you should be doing. And there was speeding up the hill, there was road rage, or trying to get in front of each other, probably just like the guy did today, that could have killed people. He was doing at least 150, and he scoops it and then he goes right off the off ramp. Like it's and it happens more and more. And I don't want to be that guy shaking my fist at clouds. My blood pressure goes up. It really does. And this goes back. I don't know if it affects me more because of my youth. We lost I mentioned this before, we lost a very, very influential community member. She was 21 and got killed by a drunk driver who was racing another drunk driver on the road. So as soon as this wasn't road rage back then, as far as I know, but they were racing and they took her out. These two people, these two clowns, these two, I want to use bad words, but I don't want to, these two malcontents, and my meaning of the word malcontent, not just my frivolous use of some, for some of my friends, these two jackasses should be arrested for murder, period, full stop. Both of them, not just the one that hit the car, because he walked away, but the other guy that he was road raging with. Road rage is like literally the worst thing I've ever come across, and I don't even understand it. Sandy was driving home the other day. She's like coming up to our road here, and she's on King Street, and she's not even at the intersection. She's like 7 or 8 cars behind, and the light's red, and she's got her blinker on to turn right. The light's red, so the car at the beginning it can't turn because there's cars coming through and people walking. The car behind him, Sandy, which is like the 6th or 7th car in the list, starts honking his horn. Where do you want us to go? The light is red. So she gets up to the light. The light is still red. She's got her blinker on, but the cars are coming through the other way because they got the green light, and this guy's laying on the horn. What do you want her to do? What there's the law. There's the light is red. It doesn't matter if you're making a right-hand turn. The light is red, and there's people and cars there. So she finally makes the turn. The guy's right on her bumper. Doesn't slow down on a red light. Just follows her through. She turns into the complex. The guy's following her into the complex. Following her right on her butt. So the complex is big enough where she can make a right turn or a left turn or whatever so she doesn't come back to our place. And the guy, she turns one way, and the guy finally stops in that intersection and does a donut and tears off out of here. And I'm going, what possessed you? What could you possibly have in your world right now where you thought any of this was a great idea? I'm noticing this more and more, especially in the last, it's never happened before, that I'll be on the highway at nighttime, especially on the link, and I'll be in the left lane because I'm passing cars, albeit slowly, and there's a car way back there, like, because 1 o'clock in the morning, it's not too packed. And so I'll be passing, and the guy's like half a mile back, and he'll start flashing his high beams. Why is he flashing his high beams? And then he'll come right up in my line. So obviously he was flying, and he's flashing. There's a car next to me that I'm passing. There's a car next to me that I'm passing, and he's flashing his high beams at me. He's not a cop. He's not going on to some emergency thing. It's an Audi driver or a BMW driver or a Lexus driver, and he's flashing his high beams. And he's like jumping it back and forth, trying to see, because the car's behind me. He's like, "What are you doing? Where are you going? In what world do you have to go somewhere fast like that to put other people's lives in danger or death?" Two people are dead just the other day due to deliberately malcontent people who cannot control themselves on our roads, our shared roads. It literally astounds me that this happens, but it doesn't astound me at all, because in the grand scheme of things, from my youth to now, I'm not saying that we are, as a society, are in serious trouble. I'm not saying that. There are still a lot of great people out there that are community oriented and looking out for people and blah, blah, blah. But right now, it is the rise of the malcontent. It is the rise of the selfish prick. It is the rise of the I am the most important person on the planet and other people can die because I'm more important than they are. It is the carelessness of throwing away people's lives for literally nothing right now. And it seems to be systemic. It doesn't matter where you are. It's not just the bad part of town. It's all part of towns now. It's everywhere, because their time is more important than your life. I just like, are you kidding me? I try not to let it bother me too much, because there's nothing I'm going to do about it except keep on driving the way I've always driven, which is as safe as possible. So, I am aware when I see people flashing high beams, or people, because I do. Young drivers taught me to keep it, like, don't just focus on the road in front of you. Check your mirror, check your blind spots, check whatever. Every once in a while, just like every couple minutes, look around. Situational awareness, and I usually see it before they get close to me, and then I'm avoiding them. And when I see somebody coming in at 150, I will slow down on the right lane and just leave them all the space in the world, because I don't want to be cut off. I don't want to be whatever. I will just let you go flying past. I got nothing to say to you. You go kill yourself somewhere else. Just don't kill anybody else. But it's usually the other person. Again, what happened the other day? It's usually the other person that gets killed, not the person doing it, the reckless driving. But I talk about this in my head. If I ever get to be, and I'm never going to be, but if I ever get to be putting my name on an election ballot, I would run on a comprehensive system of justice where, like, I don't mind 3 strike rules. I don't mind a whole bunch of stuff. But when people are this deliberately malfeasant, that you throw the book at them, no questions asked. You just throw the book at them, and with no chance of parole. No, you're done. You have wasted you have basically murdered a family now, because the kids are going to grow up without parents. I don't know how old the kids are, but obviously they're home alone, so I would imagine they're in their teens or whatever. But they lost their parents the other night because 2 people have the mentality of a 6-year-old throwing a tantrum in a store because they didn't get what they wanted. Road rage is nothing but people who have limited emotional skills and appreciation of others. Like zero appreciation of others. It's just, I am angry and I'm going to take it on other people and I'm throwing a tantrum. But you have a 2,500 pound vehicle to help you with that. You are nothing more than a petulant, whiny little 5-year-old. I was going to throw some other words in there, but again, who has no emotional integrity and or adultness at all. Road rage. That's all road rage is, as childish petulance. And people are dead. Dead. Never to be walking on this planet again. You guys murdered a family. You guys just, but I know you guys don't care. You guys, if you wouldn't have done it in the first place. You guys have no sense of anything to do with society. Nothing. And it's just, I get to the point where I better not be in a room alone with those 2 guys. And I don't care how big they are. I do not care how big they are. And again, this isn't me like whatever. This is why I shouldn't be in charge of the justice system, because just like some other guy that did stuff years ago, if we're in a room together, only one of us is walking out. Only one of us is walking out. That's it. Like there is not a power on the planet. If we are in the room together, I am not a capital punishment guy. I have not. I loathe the idea of capital punishment. Because again, there's that's not justice. That's vengeance. I am a completely anti-capital punishment. But for one person on this planet, 1.5, if we're in a room together, you're done. I don't have pent up rage for anything. But at that point, I would have so much rage in me that there'd be no stopping me. I'm sorry, there wouldn't be. There'd be none, and we wouldn't be paying for him anymore. He would not be alive. Period. What he did is the most vile stuff in my lifetime, and that was such a long time ago. And no, I'm not. It is something. But that's just me talking, I guess. I don't know. Stuff like this just, there's no words. There's not words invented to convey the sheer enormity of my lack of, like, the complete opposite of lack of appreciation, or complete, I don't know what the words are. And I'm usually pretty good with the words. So, thankfully, I'm not in charge of the justice system, because, like, it would be whatever. I love second, third, fourth, fifth chances for people who deserve it. I do not like the revolving door that we have going on right now. But I also don't want to, like, there's good stuff here, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's a long time, 1 hour. So I'm going to go to bed now. See? Told you. Anyway, that's it. That's all. I did have more to talk about, but that'll be for another time. Everybody out there, stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.